southbound. I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train. Going too fast now, think I ought to slow down, standing in the pouring rain.
What's going on, guys? Tristan and Tony back with another episode of the One Hell of a Life Outdoor Podcast.
Uh-oh.
We got Mike Marino, not to be confused with Dan Marino, on the podcast from all the way from Colorado. And Mike is a decoy carver. He's also a pastor and just has an interesting story from what I can tell and just chatting with him a little bit. And Mike, we're excited that we're having you on the podcast. And gosh, you guys got to give this guy a follow because his decoy carving is incredible.
Yeah, no, it's Tristan was sharing some of that with me before the podcast, and I was telling Mike off air, I was just like, I am so super OCD about stuff, and like I couldn't find a flaw. So beautiful stuff, man. The only problem you're gonna have with that, Mike, is that the missus might put you to work on some other things. She's like, why don't you make us some new cabinets?
Yeah, man, like that's just it. Yeah, no, that's just it. No, I'm glad to be on here. Thanks. I mean, I love what you do on the channel. I'm just happy to support it and just be on here. Yeah. So, I mean, like we were talking off air. So I've only been doing this, man, for 2 years. Crazy story. Story goes like this. It hasn't changed. Where I ordered some decoys, some golden eyes, and they were just ugly. Like just flat out, not even like trying to make it, like not even trying to pretend, right? They were just flat out ugly. Wow. And I was looking at them and I'm like, man, I heard of guys carving decoys before. And so I kind of YouTubed it, like you could do anything now. And I found some videos. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went and got a piece of cedar and I drew a picture, put it on the piece of wood, cut it out, and boy, it looked like a chicken when I got done. It looked horrible. It looked horrible. And kind of like you, I got so obsessed with I wanted it to look like the real thing, right? And that was like my thing. And then I got super obsessed with like taking a look at all these other plastic decoys, and I'm like, it just bugged me. I'm not talking bad about any brand or anything. It just for me personally, like then getting into the history of like hand carved decoys, I'm like, man, if these guys didn't hand carve decoys, we wouldn't have plastics today.
Yeah.
And so I started carving. I got better. I got like the right equipment. I got the right wood. I carve all my birds now out of high density cork like they used to back in the day. So that was cool. And I kind of got a little bit better and better and printed out a bunch of pictures. And this was the first bird that I hunted with and over. So this was my first canvas back drake.
Man, look at that thing.
So I hollowed this out. It's completely hollow. And I retired this decoy because I shot this thing like square right in the face. I mean, it was awesome, right? Like I was stoked. Like these guys were like, oh no, you shot your decoy. I'm like, dude, that's bad, man. Like that is it's still floating, right? So I hunted it the rest of the season. Like I didn't epoxy the holes or glue it. I kept the BB. There's like a little teardrop in that dude's face, right? And so I kept hunting it because I'm like, I want to see how durable these things are. And man, it taught me a lot about decoys in general, but just the fact of like plastic sinks. I don't know if you guys ever shot a plastic decoy.
Yeah.
And it just sinks, but man, I love the history behind these gunning decoys. So, they made them out of high density cork. It was a simple paint job, which I can't do simple, right? I can't, man. I just can't. I think I sent you a picture of that wood duck urn that I just did. And I just I couldn't stop myself. Right. But they made them this way. So when they hunted, paint got scratched, it got shot, you fill the hole, patch it up real quick, and then you're back to hunting, right? You don't have to baby these things. I use and abuse these decoys. And some guys are like, oh, they're my dad. So my dad's a carpenter.
Okay. So makes sense, I guess, a little bit.
Right.
With how that can go.
The artistry.
But here's the crazy thing. I don't know how to read tape measure. Okay. I'm man enough to say that, dude. Like, I'm totally man enough to say that.
Yeah.
And so my dad, you know, he built homes for a living and stuff like that. And I just never got into the like construction part. But this, man, my dad's like, where did this come from? I'm like, no idea, man. But I need you to cut me out a bunch of keels right now. I don't know how to read tape measures. So, but my dad's like, I can't believe you're putting those things in the water. I'm like, yeah, man. Like, so, and then with this decoy here, the first time I took this out, it was opening day of our season, put it out. And listen, I live in the middle of the state, right? There should not be a canvas back around.
Sure.
Dude, this one Drake canvas, I have it on my Instagram. This Drake canvas back came in and landed with this decoy. And I'm sitting there. I'm like your face I was making, right? I was like,
how cool is that?
I almost didn't shoot that bird. I'm like, this bird has to die. Like, so,
Yes.
so I got,
it's meant to be.
So I got that bird mounted, but that's what really, I mean, it spurred me on. And so I entered in our local state competition for woodworking and stuff. My wife's like, hey, you should do it. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. And so like any good husband, I listened to her. And so I did, and I ended up winning first place in best of show.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I did it again last year, and I won with some pintails, and I'm like, all right, I'm never doing this again. So I'm done. But
retiring.
Now, Mike, I listen, before we get too far in this,
yeah,
I've got maybe a halfway comical thing to ask.
Yeah.
And that is,
I got a question too after you.
Yeah, ask away.
And I want to know that if folks that carve their own decoys are the same guys that say, man, you don't need more than 4 to 6 decoys out there, because if not, y'all are carving a lot.
That's actually, let me piggyback on this real quick. That's exactly what I was about to ask. Like, you know, there's so many like people that are like, oh, you got to run 12 dozen decoys. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, especially with hand carving them?
I even see Phil Robinson go against Jace one time on an episode where he was using his old decoys. And I don't remember if they were cork or wood or what they were.
They're hand carved, yeah.
Yeah, he was using those against Jason. He went out there and beat his butt. You know. So
I'll tell you this. I went to I got my first huge order. It was 24 Drake mallards from Chris Aiken in Arkansas. So I don't know if you know who Chris Aiken is, but he's a world-renowned dog trainer. I mean, he's just and here I am, right? Like this guy who just started decoy carving, and I see this phone call, and I'm like, "Who's this?" And pick it up, and it was a referral from my friend Chris Jobman, who is another dog trainer, world-renowned, phenomenal man, and he ordered a dozen of them for me. He was at the Grand, and because I did an urn for his son's dog that passed.
Okay.
And so he calls me, he goes, I want a dozen of them. I'm like, okay. And he goes, wait a minute, I'll call you right back. So he tells Chris calls me, and I'm like, Chris Aiken? I'm like, you know, I mean, like, it's crazy. It is surreal. Yeah. And I'm like, absolutely. So I told him, I said, you know what? If you're serious about ordering 24 Drake mallards, I will hand deliver them to you. And so I did. And
wow,
he was, man, those guys, I cannot say enough good things about those two men, where they just want to see other people successful, especially in the outdoor industry. And this is so unique where Chris Aiken actually said, hey, you know, you want to stay and hunt over them? I'm like, absolutely. I've never hunted over my nice stuff. Like I hunt over like stuff that I have either messed up on, or I get like particular. I'm like, that tertial is just not right. So I'll throw it off to the side and I'll fill them up and I'll paint them. I mean, I like block paint them. I don't get as detailed, and I hunt over those. So I've never got to hunt over anything nice, and just what an experience. And then I went up to Nebraska and I hunted over a dozen mallards. Now, to answer your question, the first day at when I was hunting with Chris Jobman, we just put out my decoys. He's never hunted over hand carved decoys. We had 7 guns in the blind. We killed a 7-man limit.
Wow.
Of mallards over hand carved decoys. Like,
That's amazing.
Wow.
Man, it was, and I tell people this all the time too. This is like, it's cool. Like, decoys go back a long way, but like, this is an experience, right? Like, this is not just like to gloat or anything. You can gloat, but it's an experience, right? That you will never forget. And so the next day we hunted over some plastics, because he's like, I don't want guys shooting my decoys and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. So we shot 8 ducks that next day.
Wow.
So
that's something.
So the third day, he said, hey, let's bring these back out. Let's bring your decoys out. And I'm gonna put some plastics over here. And I'm gonna make because he hunts on the North Platte. And so on the river. And so he goes, I'm going to make it to where the birds want to be here. I'm like, okay. And I'm telling you what, every single duck keyed on those hand carved decoys. And I'm saying feet down, ready to land with them.
Wow.
One thing I've learned is I think hand carved decoys, they just project so much more life to your spread than plastics do. Don't get me wrong, plastics work, okay, but when we are shooting, limits of mallards with 410s, like, man, that says something, right?
Yeah.
And I learned a lot too. And we did the same thing in Arkansas, where we just hunted over his 24 hand carved decoys. And it does make a difference. Now, I'm not saying that because that's what I do now, but I think being there and witnessing it.
What's up, guys? If you want coffee that doesn't suck, you probably can guess what I'm going to say. Get the Duck. Dirty Duck Coffee is the official coffee of the One Hell of a Life Outdoor Podcast, and they have a great lineup of different coffee blends, everything from Morning Wood and First Flight to Dark Dynasty and Suns Up, Guns Up. You can't go wrong with Dirty Duck Coffee. And they have a great lineup of cold brew cans, mocha, French vanilla, original cold brew, and cinnamon teal snickerdoodle. If you want 15% off your next order, use code OneHellOfALife15 on your next order.
And experiencing, like, these birds are keying in on them, because they float better. They have so much more life and attitude to them. Each decoy I carve, it's not straight headed, it's turned, it's tucked, it's sleeping, it's you take a look at a flock of birds, they're all doing something different. So to answer your questions, I don't think you need 24 dozen plastics out there, right? One, that just makes it miserable. Who wants to put out that many?
Right.
But you have a dozen, 2 dozen hand carves, man. I would rather put out half a dozen hand carves and shoot 1 mallard than put out 24 and shoot a 7-man limit. Wow. Again, it's just that experience part where like you get to throw that in the water and you get to see these birds come in. There's nothing like it.
Well,
good.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that, right? So we all enjoy hunting in all these different ways, and it's all about the experience, right? And I've talked a lot about how one of the things that's great about hunting, no matter what you're going after, is that there's different ways you can approach the sport, right? And be successful. You can go hunt a deer on the ground like Fred Bear, and you can go still hunt with a recurve bow and all the primitive stuff if you want, or you can get really super technologically advanced, you know what I mean? And use your trail cameras, do all that stuff. But it's a different pathway, and everybody's got this different part of the experience that channels through. And no different than I now know, which I haven't hunted my dog yet, but I am now starting to get addicted to that. And waiting for a whole nother year before she gets to go out and retrieve her first duck and all that. And that's going to be the main part of the experience for me, next year. And I don't care if I shoot a duck, she's pick up everybody else's ducks. I don't care. But I think that's a cool thing that you bring up is that it kind of, it does the same thing, just like eating your own meat and, all that stuff. It ties all of that in there. And that's something I'd never even considered.
Yeah.
To be quite honest.
Now, one question that spurs to me, just like hearing 24 hand carved decoys. I mean, what kind of time goes into it to making one? I'm sure it's a effort.
Yeah. So that's a great question. So when I first started out, it took me like a long time. And that's because I was taking a look at pictures and I'm like, man, like how's the neck sitting? How is this? And where do how do the primaries lay back on this? If I'm going to paint it like this, and things like that. So yeah, it took me longer. And I was doing it as a hobby, not as how I'd make a living now, but I got quicker. I got better. Like, when I have study bills pretty much for all the species of birds now, but when I usually start out with the head and, I'll take some calipers and look at that study bill. So like, I know now a Drake mallard's bill is about 2 inches long. Okay. And so I would take it, measure it here, and then, their little notch right here. Okay. So from here to here is how far, and then their nail, the notch up here, this V shape here, I measured everything because I wanted it to look like the real thing. So now
want to scale the size and everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And some guys are like, well, your birds are smaller. I'm like, no, they're the actual size of the actual bird, man. And when I first started, I would keep a bird, put it in the freezer, and then I would take measurements off of it.
Wow.
And there was my first Drake mallard I did, I had a frozen bird and I was taking measurements off of it and, doing it to scale. And so now I could do about 3 dozen in a month.
Okay.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
Wow.
So yeah, so I can do about 3 dozen.
Now, how does pricing work? Do you do it like the more you order, like it's a discounted type thing? And also like, just explain the pricing on them. Cause this is more like an artwork thing. You know what I mean? So if you're buying it, I understand it's like you're paying for like a quality thing here.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what a lot of guys, when I first started posting, I knew guys were like, so for a single, now granted, my birds look way better than this. But for a single gunner, I sell a single gunner for $250. So that includes now, again, quality, right?
Right.
Every single one of my decoys has a walnut keel on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think walnut's classy. It's beautiful. It has beautiful grain. And so they're getting a good deal. Even on a half a dozen, 2 dozen, they're getting a walnut keel. And so some guys use other forms of wood. I just can't, right? It's just one of those things. It's just a quality thing. So yeah, $250 for one. So then when we move up to half a dozen, it's, I think it's $13.20. So it's like $225 a bird.
Nice.
But that includes a slotted bag that I made.
Nice.
So I had designed a custom slotted bag for these decoys, and that bag helps protect the paint. Just protect. It has a plug at the bottom, or just a hole at the bottom that allows the water to drain, just so your decoys aren't sitting in water. So that's included. Then we move up to a dozen. That's $200 a bird. Again, you still get the slotted bag, and then it's like $185 or something like that for 2 dozen. So
right on.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Super cool.
and I try to think about, like the blue collar guy, who's working, they want nice stuff. So, and, sure. Would I love it if guys bought 2 dozen? Yeah. But I would rather have everyone buy one and still have that experience,
Yeah.
and still be able to go out and buy waders and buy shotgun shells and buy whatever. So, that's a great question.
Well, and I think back to kind of experiencing hunting like in your own way, like that was a good point. Buying one decoy versus buying 2 dozen, is that right there. But I think, waterfowl, and I don't mean to say this like in a, I don't really know how I'm trying to say this, but waterfowl, there's a lot of waterfowl hunters. It's like golf, right? Like everyone knows that this is not a cheap sport to be involved in. Unfortunately, no matter what it is. I mean, guys are buying $30,000 boats, buying $2,000 shotguns, just insane money that's in the sport. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not us. That's not how a lot of people are. So you got to kind of budget, and back to your 1 decoy thing or 6 decoys or whatever. But I think that's what's cool about what you said is like, you kind of have something for everybody in that sense. And you can still experience that with over 1 decoy, or if you're a guy that's got to,
well, look at
got to get big bankroll. You can get you 2 dozen.
Well, no, I'm not a gun collector, but there sure are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people that do.
Especially if the upland guns. Man.
Yeah, and the upland game there has always been considered the rich man's sport, right? And I'm not throwing any shade by saying that.
No.
I'm just saying it's no different than a fox hunt in England, okay, or whatever, okay. So it's just the label of that because it goes all the way back to King and Queen days and all that stuff, where it was a unique thing that you did. But I'm saying where I'm going with this is like to tie an analogy to people that collect and use things is, I know people that have several guns. They have their everyday use gun, and then they have maybe this. I mean, I've seen shotguns at some of these places that are 6 figures. All right.
Yeah.
And so it just, if it's not for you, then don't sit there and talk about how expensive it is. All right. But that's where I'm going with this.
I think that's where I was trying to go.
And not trying, but this is a niche market.
Mm-hmm.
It's a niche thing. And it's one of those things where, like, honestly, you're scaring me a little bit because if I get one and I shoot something over it, like something.
What's up, guys? Tristan here. If you're like us, you need gear that's going to stand up to the elements and not break the bank. That's exactly what we love about Frog Talks. They just dropped their brand new Oxbow Waterfowl series, and let me tell you, this stuff is built for serious hunters who don't want to quit when the weather turns nasty. It's tough, lightweight, and waterproof. Everything you need when you're out there chasing ducks. If you're looking to upgrade your gear this season, head over to frogtalks.com and use code OneHellOfALifeOutdoors at checkout for 15% off your order.
Crazy like that happened with like you did, then dude, like that's the best salesman you could have. Is like,
well, and it's objectively just cool, no matter what your feelings are.
It just is. It just is. And I think it is more appealing to that person that values you've got to value that for it to be appealing to you, right?
Correct. Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, and guys, and so you bring up a really good point. So being in and living in Colorado, like I've big game hunted and all that stuff. Listen, guys was dropped $30,000 on an elk hunt and not even see an elk, right?
Yeah.
And like it's cool. Like I've shot a deer. Oh, hey, thank you so much. Thanks. Sorry,
No, I'm just kidding.
Awesome.
I had my wife bring this down just to because I had everything set up in my shop, but it's not any good internet connection. This is an urn that I did. I'll talk about my urns here in a second, but
wow.
So yeah, this is all.
That's beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Look at that.
And like you said, right down to when you look at a pintail and look at how his feathers lay across the body, right? But yeah, this one, I'm sending this one out tomorrow. But guys will drop
on the head too.
Yeah,
man. Like
beautiful.
just the fuller cheeks and stuff. It's
and
the
I think
paint too.
Yeah, so on pintails, they have this like greenish iridescent purplish hue right on their back. So yeah, man, like I said, I get down and dirty. I mean, you have your white rump feathers here. So you got it
amazing.
all.
I'm sitting there looking up at the wall, and I'm looking at that, looking at the wall, looking at that.
Yeah, I mean, right, like it's and so, you know, guys can spend $30,000 on an elk hunt and not even see an elk, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like I shot an elk. It was awesome. I shot with a muzzle loader and it was great, but I punched that tag, man, and I was done.
Yeah.
Right. Like waterfowl season, you go out 60, 90 days and go hard. And what's so cool about it is it's never, you could go to the same blind the day after day, and it's always different, right?
Yeah.
It's like obviously the wind, the weather, the ducks that come in, whatever it is. But and you're right. I think you know, like I said, I'm not saying you have to be rich to buy one of these.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to make it affordable to where, listen, man, even if you just use just one, like it's because you roll up, you can't tell me you roll up with your buddies and you pull out a hand carved decoy. They're going to go, what the heck? You know what I mean? And so it's just, again, it's just that experience, that uniqueness about it. And it, like I want it for everyone. Like Chris Jobman told me, and so I'm giving him all the credit for this phrase. He's like, man, he's like, this is like the Marino decoy experience. I'm like, I'm going to use that. Yeah. And it truly is. Like, I truly do want everyone to have this Marino decoy experience to where, man, you put a pintail out there, you put a canvasback, a mallard, a wood duck, and you watch those birds work. And it's just like, man, there's sometimes I don't even want to shoot because I love watching those birds. And so just about the experience part. So this urn, so I started doing urns. I did my first urn with a guy who got me introduced to goldeneye, to diver hunting. Okay. And that's the bird I started out carving, was a goldeneye, because I wanted to carve a rig of 30 goldeneyes. I still have yet to complete that rig, just because I'm carving birds for other people now. But sure. But his dog passed, and I said, hey, I think it'd be super cool if we put some of his ashes in some shotgun shells, and so you can still take him hunting. I said, wow. I won't charge you. Like, let me just do this for you. He's okay. And man, again, an experience, like you're going to have that relationship with your dog, right? So like next year when your dog goes out and retrieves that duck, I mean, you know, we ask a lot of our dogs. I have 3 labs as well that nice. I train, and man, I ask a lot of them. I ask them to go into freezing cold water, get up early with me, you know, sit in the truck for a while. I mean, all this stuff. And so I just think like the best thing we can do as their owner, as their provider and protector, is just honor them in such a way. Because I tell guys this, when you have to put a dog down or whatever, first of all, it's horrid. It is. I've had to do it, and it's just the worst feeling in the world. And then they give you a little box, and then that box is either going to sit on the shelf in your closet, or it's going to get pushed to the back. And I'm not saying you're going to forget about it, but you forget, right? Life moves on. But
dude, you're speaking reality to me, because we just put one down, you know, last year, or it's been a little over a year actually. And right now I got a baggie over there, and all I got is a tuft of hair and a paw print. Yeah. You know, and man, I mean, it wasn't a duck dog, but still in all, that's all I got.
Yeah. You know? Well, and that's just it. And so this client so he sent me half of his dog's ashes, and he's taking the other half, and he's making a call out of it, a duck call. Wow. Which I think that's super cool. So I carved the whole decoy, and then I split the decoy in half. And then I hollow it out, and then I insert the ashes in, close it up, and seal it up, and then paint over it. But I figured out a way where there's no seams. Like,
so it's completely sealed too.
Oh yeah, so like this. So he plans on.
It's got a screw off cap where you could get in there and.
Nope.
I mean, there's no reason to. Right?
Yeah, no, there's no reason to. But it's sealed. Wow. This is I mean, it's a solid bottom, and but you know, he's going to take this hunting a couple of times a year. Then other than that, he can display it, on his mantle and look at a bird instead of a box. But remember, man, like my dog's last retrieve, my dog's first retrieve, or whatever
Sure.
it was. And also too, man, it's a healing process. Like loss is loss, right? Like I got like the loss of my hair. It's lost, right? I mean,
let's go, bro.
Hey, let's go. Okay, cool. All right. I'm digging this.
Tristan
now.
got his mom's hair, so he's
I don't
lucky.
have that problem. The hair looks
Hat back
crazy.
on. We don't. I'm kidding. But
But
yeah,
I'm
man.
all jacked up.
I know guys like this punk us out.
Like
Mike.
you probably wait on him to do his hair in the morning before hunting or something.
Oh my
right?
gosh!
No,
I'm just like,
joking.
yeah, like people like I joke around. People like do all these things to their beautiful hair, and I'm just like, I don't have to pay for those products.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how fast we can take
I haven't bought
showers?
shampoo,
I will say it's like $30 every 3 or 4 weeks. So I mean, you guys are saving some money.
bro. I haven't bought shampoo.
Well, that's another cost.
I don't know where we're
didn't
going with
consider
this, but I am definitely saving. Let's say $250. Let's say $250 a month from Dollar General. Some decent shampoo.
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm saving what? That's
Dude, you could buy 24 birds with a mountain.
right,
That's
dude.
I mean,
I know. I gotta keep this. I gotta make a list on this
So
with my wife.
if you go bald, your next step is buy some decoys.
That's right.
Yeah,
Listen,
I mean,
on your
hey.
business plan with your wife, you put on there, say, look, I've been brushing my teeth less per year. I
don't know if you wanna
I
do
wipe
that
my
with your
butt
wife.
less per year.
I don't
I
know
Yeah.
if you
wash
do that
my.
either.
I know,
Yeah, there
I'm
you
just
go.
kidding.
no, that's
No,
funny.
I'm just being.
No, that's funny. But it's and all this just spurred out of like nowhere, right? I've never taken a carving class. Like I have had a lot of guys help me. I've called there's this guy Luke who is in Ohio. He has been so gracious to me, and I can't thank him enough. I messaged him one day out of the blue. I'm like, hey, you're really good at this. What am I doing wrong? And he's just like, well, drop this here, do this. I'm like, oh, okay. And now that's where I buy all my cork from. He owns and operates Coffee Creek Cork. And so if guys are looking to get into decoy, a lot of guys message me like, hey, what do I need? Whatever. I wish that I had, so they have carving kits, right? So where, let's say you want to carve a canvas bag, pinch anything. You get a cutout body, you get the head, you get the eyes, you get the pattern, and all you got to do is take everything off that doesn't look like the duck, put the head on, put the eyes in, paint it. I mean, I wish I had that back in the day. But he's been a great help, and other guys, these other carvers, who I'm just reaching out to. I'm like, how did you get that angle, or how did you do this? And because I'm, some of these guys have been carving for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not taking that knowledge with you when you die, so you might as well share it, right?
Yeah.
And so, but everyone is great, and but really, to me, it's almost like chasing that drag and chasing that high again, where it's like,
Yeah.
I will never forget that feeling where that canvas back dumped in, and I mean, I still get that feeling when I see birds, coming into decoys, but that's what we're after, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're after being successful. We're after, killing a limit. And I think like what you were saying is there's different levels, right? Where it's like, okay, you get all green heads, and then you kill a limit, and then you kill a 7, and then you whatever. And now I think we all get to the point to where it's like, okay, I want a different experience. I want something that I've never experienced before. Man, but what's cool is like this stuff never gets old. Like,
No.
oh man, like you put out hand, and what's cool is it's just fun. Like you can put out half dozen, whatever, and see what happens. So
That's
it's
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's been a blessing. That's for sure.
Now, Mike, I want to know, and I don't know why I feel it's calling on me or tugging on me a little bit, but obviously, you're a man of God, believer in Christ and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, and if I'm tapping too hard, let me know. But
You tap away.
have you been able to find that connection of what I mean? Where you at spiritually is like, has the decoying been a part of an interconnection there with your religious experience? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So great question. So I actually just went into full-time decoy carving 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And so I was a children's pastor, and we were seeing about 500 kids a weekend. And it was great. I loved it. But when I started carving, I started to realize a lot about myself as I was carving. So that, and then I would just relate it. And truthfully, when I was taking wood off the head or sealing a bird, everything about decoy carving points back to Christ. And people are like, well, how does that make sense? I'm like, well, let me tell you.
Speak it.
When I'm taking off wood, right, I'd sit there and go, man, like, well, this is what.
This winter, elevate your outdoor pursuits with Williamson Outfitters, offering professionally guided experiences along Florida's Forgotten Coast. From coastal duck hunting to inshore fishing, every Williamson Outfitters trip is led by a seasoned captain, delivering world-class adventure with true local expertise. From small private groups to large corporate retreats, Williamson Outfitters' fleet of well-equipped boats and experienced guides provide first-class winter outdoor experiences for sportsmen of all ages and skill levels. And for those planning ahead, Williamson Outfitters is already booking spring and summer charters. Secure your fishing, flounder gigging, and family adventure dates now before their calendar fills up. Call or text 850-251-8650 or visit floridaducks.com to reserve your outdoor experience. Williamson Outfitters, making the Forgotten Coast unforgettable.
Christ does in my life, like he takes everything off of me that doesn't represent him, right, or doesn't resemble him. And when I'm sealing a bird or painting a bird, I might mess up, but then guess what? He's the master carver. He can go back and fix it, just like how I can take this bird that's all shot up and wrecked and ugly, and I can fix it. Why? Because I know the bird. I know how I carved it, and I know its purpose, right? And so I can fix it, just like Christ could, and he does fix us. But the biggest thing is I named my company Just One More. And one, it just fits in, right? How many times did you just need one more bird for a limit, man? Like, I don't have enough fingers and toes to count, right?
And or just one more step from a deer. I mean, honestly,
right? It just or like, what about just one more hour, just one more hunt with a dad or a grandpa or a dog,
right?
And I was thinking about all this as I was driving back from Tennessee from the Ducks Expo with my wife. And man, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, just one more. We've all had that experience, but my hope, goal, in all this is to lead just one more person to Christ through these decoys.
That's cool, man.
And so, listen, I'm not. People like, you're the next Duck Dynasty. Is like, no. I said, Phil Robertson made the duck calls. I'm just making the decoys. So,
that's right.
You got to have. You can't have one without the other. And so, but I can't tell you, and I put out these, I call them duck devos. So once a week, I put out a duck devo that relates to carving and God, whether like this last one I did was about a refuge, right? And I learned so much about duck refuges and why they're so important to us. Well, I mean, Christ is our refuge.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I'll get in the blind with guys and, they're cussing or whatever. And they're like, hey, what do you do? I'm like, I'm a pastor and I carve decoys. Why? They're like, oh, no. They're freaking out. And I'm like, that's like my favorite part, man. That's like my favorite part. But even my favoriteest part is going, hey, listen, it's okay. You don't need to be sorry about nothing. Because if these mallards dump in here and put their feet down, I might say a choice few words. Okay? So like, first of all, I am no better than you. Okay,
That's right.
I'm seriously no better than you. But what I do tell them is, the one thing is that I know who I am. Right?
Yeah.
I know I'm a man, I'm a sinner in need of a savior.
That's
and
right. We all are, for sure.
And we are. And so, so ministry wise, like this is my ministry now. Like this is how I provide for my family. Yeah. Is it some people think I might be crazy. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of people thought Phil Robertson, was crazy. Right. But the thing is, how many guys are out there that duck hunt or hunt in general that would never step inside a foot of a church, right? I could name like 100 of them right now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm just me, right? And people are like, oh, you're a pastor. I'm like, listen, time out. I don't even like that title. I'm just a person who loves to duck hunt and loves God, loves decoys. But I just realized that, man, I'm a wretched individual.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the Bible says that there's no one is good, right? Paul writes, there's not one of us that is good. We have all sinned. And I'm like, all. That's the definition, right. All. And so when I realized that and knowing, I'm like, you're going one or two places, right? And if I love people, then I better tell them about it. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not the kind of guy who's going to shove it in your face or down your throat. Like this is just a conversation. Right.
Right.
And so, man, I get to have these conversations all the time with guys. And I think about, all these men who are in a blind, on Sundays, on Saturdays. And I've been there too.
Yeah.
But some people are like, oh, well, I don't want to, I got to miss church. I'm like, buddy, we could do church right here.
Right.
Like, this is church, man. Like you get to be in God's creation and we get to see things that people will never get to see, right? Like How many beautiful sunsets or sunrises have you seen? And like watching the woods come alive is unreal, right?
Man,
100%.
That's like, to me, that's like the pulling the trigger and killing part is like a bonus to me. Like getting to see and experience the rest of that stuff is it. And so like this morning I went and spoke at an FCA, fellow Christian athletes at a middle school.
Didn't you used to go to events?
We used to have like events at the school and
Okay. High school, middle school.
Or not events, like more like meetings. It was like 7:30 a.m.
Yep.
like kind of.
Yep, that's it. Yeah. So I bring decoys and that's what I talk about. And really what the first thing that came to me when I was carving decoys is, man, that like God spoke all this into existence, right? Genesis chapter 1. And so God spoke like the mallards and the pintails and he spoke all that into existence. And here I am trying to like, how do you get the iridescence, God? On this? I'm like, dude, you spoke this into existence, right? And I'm sitting here like struggling, trying not to cuss because I'm getting so frustrated, right? But you spoke into existence. And then we turn to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. It says, let us make man in our own image. And then it says that God formed man out of the dust of the earth. And I'm like, wait a minute. And there was a time where I sat back and forth. I flipped back and forth between one page doing this for like half hour. And I realized something, that God spoke everything into existence, but we are the only thing that God got off of his throne with and handmade. It said that he formed us, right?
That's right.
So check that out. And dude, it blew me away. And I'm like, so and look how much detail we have, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, and could he have spoken us into existence? Absolutely.
The intricacies of the human body are sometimes unfathomable.
It's crazy.
I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
And to think that he spent the time to do that with me and for me. And then we have the only thing animals don't, which it says that he breathed the breath of life into us. And so not only are we created in his image, but we have his breath of life. Now, then people get into like, well, why would a loving God send people to hell? Well, hold on a second. You love your son, right? I have two sons now, and I have a 6-year-old and I have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old daughter, and then a 5-month-old son. And so I look at my son going, man, you look like me, man. Like bald and everything. It's great. Like, and so I'm like, I helped create you.
That's
And
right.
and to think about what I would do for my sons, right? Like I would do anything for them.
For sure.
And so because we sinned, God's like, man, I created you by hand and I love you so much that I'm going to give up my son to die for your sins. And all we need to do is repent of our sins and quit being heathens. Like it's simple,
Right.
right? Like it's so simple.
Right.
And so, but yeah, man, that's how like my weekly content I put out is a thought in my head that I get while I'm painting or carving. And I'm like, that's from you, God. I better say that, or better, post this. And it does, man. One thing I've realized is that we can search and look for everything to make us happy, right? But there's only one thing that's going to save us from ourselves. We can't save us from us, right?
That's
So but now it's great being in the blind, talking about it. I don't push it on people. But that's my story. I mean, these decoys are everything to me. And there's some times where I sit back like this pintail. I sit back and I bring it inside the house to I look at it to see if the feathers are right and all this other stuff. But I'm like, how in the world did I just do that?
Yeah.
Like I have no idea. And truthfully, people don't believe me that I'm like, this is my second year doing this.
That's crazy, man. It's
it is.
Gift.
Well, and the thing that I'm sitting here admirably thinking about with you is, now the way that we've had this conversation, it hits a little bit different for me, this urn thing, right? Whether it be for a loved one, your animal, whatever it is, think about, I mean, like I don't even want to go down the rabbit hole of like the whole, like this happens, one thing happens, God knows it all. But I'm just saying it's got to be super gratifying to know that, hey, this person, for some reason, first of all, I started doing this. And second of all, now I've got a place for somebody to help them heal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever it is. And I just think that in itself, to me, it's hitting a little different as we're talking.
Yeah.
Versus just the urn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's to hear these guys. So like when Chris Jobman called me, when he got his urn, he said that he opened up that box and he said he cried. Like his son cried. I'm like, what? I'm like, you cried? I'm like, and he's like, man, you have no idea like what that did for us. And then when I was in Arkansas, he sent me a picture of his son. He went out and hunted it, the very last spot where his dog picked up his last retrieve, and he sent me a picture, and dude, that just gave me like the chills, right? It just gave me just the chills, to know that like he got to hunt with his dog again, right?
Wow.
Super cool.
It was
but it's just a carved decoy. You know what I mean? Like the guy sitting out there, the guy that, man, it's just carved decoy. What's all hype behind the carved decoy? Listen, I've learned. So how long have we been on this podcast? 40 minutes?
46 minutes.
I've learned more. Like I'm in shock myself, to be quite honest. I mean, just and of course enjoy the spiritual connection of that is incredible too, and because I mean it's a very important to Tristan and I as well, but man, it's more than just that, right? And
Correct.
And the other analogy that I just wanted to speak of real quick that I think will help people relate is art, right?
Yeah.
Music and art, right? So you can go to Walmart and get a duplicate of something that's mass produced that costs you $6 to put on your wall, right?
Yep.
Or, for example, Papa Tom, my dad is a professional artist,
Wow.
or he had one of his oil paintings went for I don't know, what was it, $350, $400
Wow.
at a Delta waterfowl convention. Helped, not, I mean, they didn't have any mind. I mean, big shout out to Stacy and her husband, but they didn't have any problem paying for that art.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's got unique, and that's the same thing. I think again that's the customer right there.
You know, and you're right. And I forget. Like I'm glad you brought that up because I do forget that this is art. Like my dad still is like in shock every time I bring him over one. I'm like, check this one out. He's like, what? And I'm like, and again, it is art. And there's so many people that just collect decoys just to put it in their house, right?
Yeah.
But like you said, so like your dad's art to where he painted that. I mean, and it's so crazy to think about that. Now I'm going down a rabbit hole. It's crazy to think because I'd never thought about myself like this. I have stuff up here, but to make it come out and to where I can like touch it, feel it, and like see what I was thinking of that hits different. That hits totally different. You know, I donate one to our local Ducks Unlimited chapter now every year, and you know I love to give back too. Like there's this dad who reached out to me, and he was saying his son has cancer, and he wants to buy one for me, and I'm like, man, let me just carve you one, dude.
Yeah.
I don't like don't get, sure. Could I use the $250? Absolutely. I got to put diapers on my son, but I'm like, you know what? I would rather bless him. Like I could. And that's like the weight of it sometimes, right? Like it's still so like this urn. The client was messaging me, and I said, "Hey, you just let me." So his dog didn't pass it, but he was like right there, right? Saturday morning, one Saturday, I rolled over and I see a text message from him, and he shot me a picture of him and his dog hunting again, and then he sends me a text right after, and he's like, "Hey, man, Reed just passed," and I'm like, bro, I'm like, what? I'm like, was that an old picture? He's like, no, he passed, you know, on a retrieve. I'm like,
what?
Oh my gosh,
bro! I'm like,
no way.
hopefully not from a hunting accident.
No.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so he was no. So he was old, super old dog, and I think he had cancer bad. And but the dog loved. I mean, he just.
I believe it, dude. They love it.
And
I hope that's
I'm
the way
like,
I die, honestly, on my last retrieve.
Dude, and I'm
my
like,
last hunt or whatever.
I'm like, you just ruined my day. Like I'm sorry, no, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, but to think about like, just not only like the healing process, but like when he looks at this duck now, he doesn't see like a dead dog, right? He doesn't see his dog who just he was actually retrieving a wood duck, and he went out there, went to grab it, and just passed. But it's
wow.
Yeah, right. And then I think about this, like Colorado had no ducks this year. It sucked, man. Like it was horrible. I pulled the trigger 3 times this year in Colorado. It was horrible.
Wow.
And to think about, some guys are like, wouldn't you rather be hunting? I'm like, little do you know, I'm hunting every day. They're like, what? No, you're not. I'm like, yes, I am. I'm like, I get to be a part of other guys killing birds. Like,
It's true.
Right? I mean,
Right.
Get those
I'm
client
killing
pictures.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm killing birds without even pulling the trigger. And like, I get so much satisfactory out of the joy that's being had and the memories that are being made. This is the let's see if it'll focus. Focus. There he goes. Yep. So that's the urn I made for his son, and had a handful of ducks on it.
Wow.
You know, in his other hand. And so
Cool.
so yeah,
How cool is that?
that's on my Instagram. But I mean, when I get pictures like that, I'm like,
Dude, that's something that will be there for generations.
Mhm.
Do you know what
Forever.
I'm saying? I mean,
Forever.
really, I mean, think about how often do we have the opportunity, and I know you probably have already recognized this, but how often do we have the opportunity to be part of even your own family's name in conversations generations on, right?
Yep.
You know, I mean, I guess it's real easy if you know, I hit the lottery, you know, and you'd be like, you know, Dad hit the lottery and that's why we have this farm or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, what a great opportunity for you to also have that part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people will pick this up and go, "Who's that guy?" You know what I mean?
right.
Like, oh wow, you know. So,
Well,
cool
and there's a guy who just ordered, and I'm glad you brought that up. There's a guy who just ordered a dozen of them from me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm buying these for my son," and I'm like, "Man, that is." I can't tell you how many. I just finished up a birthday present. It's a Drake Mallard for a guy who bought it for his son. Like, and that's what I think about. Like, not only I'm not just carving these decoys to get a paycheck. Like I love talking to clients. I'm like, why do you want this decoy carve? What do you like for what reason? Like, what's the purpose? And man, when I get to hear the stories behind like why, like the why, like this guy wants a dozen of them for his son. So just as a gift, like, man, if my dad ever bought me a dozen hand carved decoys, right? Like his son can pass that on to his kids and his kids, you know what I mean? Just like what you said. And it's, man, it'll live on forever. These things they'll outlast me. That's for sure.
That's awesome stuff, man. And dude, we'll have to do this again because I feel like honestly, like we could talk about this for another 2 hours.
Oh man,
I know. I'm like, I know you guys gotta.
No, dude, I want to even go. Like, let's make sure we do because I want to go down. Like, we did some Chat GPT before we got on, and dude, just a simple fact. And I don't want to burn down this rabbit hole because we're short on time, but I just want to hit this stat with people to set you up for the next conversation, and you too, Mike.
Yeah.
The first animal decoys ever made were 4,000 years ago.
Yep.
Hand carved decoys in Egypt.
Yep.
All right, so we've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Is my point.
I got a lot to say. Yeah, I got some. I'd love to share some more about that stuff with you too. So, but yeah, please, I'd love. Yeah, no, thank you guys. And if anyone's interested, they could just visit me at marinodecoys.com. They can look me up on Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff. So.
Perfect, man.
That's awesome.
Well,
dude.
Mike, we really appreciate it, man. And it seems like you got an awesome thing going on there. And looking forward to get this conversation out to people.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. We'll connect and get you in here for part 2.
Absolutely, man. I look forward to it.
All right, brother. God bless. Take care of you, family, and that little one.
Thanks, man. You too.
All right.
Take care, man.
See ya.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on a midnight train. Going too fast now, think I ought to slow down, standing in the pouring rain.